Hey everyone, we are back live from South by Southwest. I'm Jade Floyd of the Case Foundation, and I am joined here today by Kimberly Bryant. She is the Executive Director and founder of BlackGirlsCode. She also has a storied career of the last 2 decades in the pharmaceutical industry and biotech industry. So I'm excited to talk to you about a number of things related both to the organization and your journey. So first off, tell us a little bit more about BlackGirlsCode.
Of course. So Black Girls Code is a nonprofit organization that started in 2011 with a focus on introducing girls from underrepresented communities to the field of technology. We're a really chapter-based organization, so powered by volunteers across the U.S. as well as in Johannesburg. And we do everything from teaching the girls how to build mobile sites to creating robotics to doing virtual reality, anything that really touches tech. We want them to be exposed to. And the goal is really to try to create a more diverse tech industry.
And you have thousands of volunteers who have come through the pipeline over the course of the program. Tell me a little bit about more how you seek out those volunteers and the types of entities that they come from.
So I would say that 90% of our volunteers are technologists themselves. So they would be the folks that would be attending South by Southwest, working for a company like Google, Microsoft, Dell, all over those companies. Those volunteers are coming from, you know, just this place of wanting to give back and wanting to see their workplace as more reflective of the world around them. So there's women, there are men, there are people of all races and ethnicities that really are wed to the mission and believe in what we're doing. So many times it comes from a partner that we have, but not all the time. They're just folks that have been in the industry and want to see it be more creative and more change.
And talk to me about the students. That's, of course, why the program is in existence.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how you decide and what communities you're going to be in. And then what do the students go through? What's the entire process of their journey with Black Girls Code?
So when we think about Black Girls Code, we want to really kind of create this image of the Girl Scouts, so to speak, of technology. So it's really an open registration process. So we're in 14 cities, 13 in the U.S. and 1 in Johannesburg. And any girl in any of those 14 cities who's interested in learning can participate. They just sign up. So there's not an application process. And we start as young as 7. We go all the way through 17. So these classes that we're doing are mostly after school, but it happens throughout the year. So from January to December, a girl sees a class that she's interested in, a field trip that sounds interesting, and she can register for it. And there's no criteria. They don't need to know anything about technology. They just need to be interested in learning. And we really encourage girls to sign up and try everything, even if it's something that they're not familiar with.
So what are some of the coolest projects and platforms that you've seen some of the students work on?
Well, I think for me, one of the things that is really exciting is to see the girls really utilize technology to solve a problem that's important to them. So one of the apps that the girls created a couple years ago when they were participating in a hackathon was this app called Ohana, but it was a wearable device that a girl would wear. It would mimic a piece of jewelry, but it had a transponder in it. And so if she was walking home from school and she felt unsafe, she could activate the transponder, and it would integrate with this application that they created for the mobile phone, and it would send an alert to her key contacts and her emergency contacts, her parents or her friends. And it was something that I really felt emotional about, even so much as seeing the girls relate to this idea of women being safe in their own communities and how to solve that problem utilizing technology. And even more interesting still, I think with that particular application, the girls that created it were only like 12 and 13 years old. And my daughter was in that group, and it was just a bit of a shock for me, even as a mom, to think that this is something that she was aware of and may have been an issue to her as she was coming home from school, and I didn't even know about it. And so I think those are the applications and how the girls really use technology to solve a social problem that are the most compelling and the most inspiring for me.
And you often see that people who live the problem, who breathe it, they're the ones who often find the best solutions.
Yes.
That's why so many entrepreneurs are coming from segments of society that are really building out these platforms that they needed in the communities in which they've lived in.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit too about, working with girls. Obviously we need to increase the ranks of girls in engineering and mathematics and science and technology. And tell us about some of the numbers there and where you hope to see that change over the next few years.
Well, I think one of the statistics that was a defining factor for me was when I realized that when I graduated back in the 80s with a degree in computer science and electrical engineering, there's probably the largest number of women receiving bachelor's degrees over the last 2 decades. So at that time, it was about 34, 35%. Now it's only about 12%. That's women overall receiving just bachelor's. We're not even talking about master's or PhD. But when you look at that number across the really specific demographic of black women, that's just 3%. And for Latinas, that's like less than 1%. So that's the kind of numbers that we're working with. That's the needle we need to move, because you would think 20 years from when I actually received a degree, you know, as tech is everywhere, it touches everything, that there will be more women in the field, but it's actually declined drastically. And that's what we're trying to really address, is how to get more women in the pipeline and how to make sure that they stay there once they get in.
So, Johannesburg.
Yes.
Why there? And do you have any aspirations to expand the program outside of that region?
Absolutely. We love being in Johannesburg. For one, the reason we selected Johannesburg is one of our corporate partners, ThoughtWorks, had a company there. They had one of their locations, and they were one of our very first corporate partners. And if you look across our cities, the very first ones that we started were all in places where they had an office, because they literally reached out to us out of the blue from a Google search and offered us their resources and their employees to incubate our program. So that's our very first chapter, started right in their offices. And they took the chapter in Joburg and just grew it and nurtured it and got it to the place where it's very much so in demand within the community. We would love to move across Africa, and we get lots of requests to do so. And we hope to do that in the next coming years.
Great. So before we depart, tell us how those watching today, if they want to become a part of Black Girls Code, if they want to register their daughter or register themselves, how do they do that?
So I think one of the things that I always say for folks that are interested in Black Girls Code is to figure out how you can really play an active part. So that could be from the standpoint of giving if you don't have time. But if you have time, give that. If you don't have time, give a reference or a referral to someone that you know that either might be interested in participating in the program or may be interested in supporting this type of effort. Because everyone can give in some way. And for us, we're very much so about the community and building a community that thrives. It really depends on people stepping up right where they are and using what they have.
That's so true. You know, our founder, Gene Case, talks about this very much, democratizing philanthropy.
Absolutely.
That you can use your time, you can use your talent, and or you can use your treasure to really make a meaningful change within societies.
Yes.
And that's exactly what you all are doing with Black Girls Code.
Well,
so
thank
I commend you.
Thank you very much.
So before we depart, I want you to tell us what are you most excited about at South by? There's so much to do. There's so much to see.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're doing a lot of meetings and meeting with a number of influencers, investors, hopefully funders. Tell us what you're most excited about over the next few days.
So for me with South by Southwest, this is my 5th or 6th. So I feel
you're
that
a veteran.
I'm a bit of a veteran. But this is only the 2nd time that I've brought BGC Tech Divas. So I'm always excited about seeing the world through those fresh eyes and seeing how they relate to these new experiences. So I'm really excited about the girls coming into town tomorrow and to see them like literally delivering a workshop and teaching people what they know around virtual reality on Monday. And seeing how transformative this could be as an experience for them is what excites me the most.
Are there any seats left in that workshop?
It's sold out, but we got a waiting list.
All right. I was going to say, can I get a seat? But I'm real excited that you're here and that you are showcasing both the young women, the program. So thank you for joining us. And thanks to all of you, South by, for tuning in, and folks at home all across the world.
Bye.
See ya.